I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Oh yeah.
So how many of these have you done?
This is my second one.
Who'd you do first?
And then Holly's a lot is coming on tomorrow.
Who'd you do first?
Matt Cunningham.
Who's he doing?
So we're here, Car Biz Leaders Live, rocking it out with Chad Cunningham today. This man needs little introduction. Was the president of Wholesale Inc. and Rumble On, vice president.
No, not president of Rumble On. Don't get me in trouble now.
Oh,
Just of Wholesale Inc.
Wholesale Inc. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Marshall might take offense to that.
Well, oh well. I don't know why they would. Ever since you left, haven't been doing so hot. So
They're doing all right.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on today, and good to catch up with you. And, we're talking with Car Biz leaders, and this is going to go out to the groups and everything like that. And what I really wanted to find out is if somebody wanted to get into wholesaling, what makes your sauce so special? I guess the secret sauce.
What's the question? If they want to get into wholesaling? Yeah, right. If they want to get into wholesaling?
It's been a long week.
Yeah, if they want to get into wholesale, then, it sounds simple, I guess, but they need to find somebody in wholesale and kind of, target that person as like, hey, I want to be in wholesale and I want to work for X person or X company or whatever, whatever the draw is, whether it's I see this guy at the auction, I want to be like him, or I see this person online, or I see this company, and go try to work for that company. Like, I think it's worth it. It seems like it seems like more and more so everybody's saying these days is like start on your own, like just jump out there on your own and start on your own. But I think there is some value in like going and finding somebody who's doing it, link up with them, spend some time with them, learn some things. If down the road you want to do something on your own, like that's got some opportunity. But yeah, find somebody you want to do it with or do it for or do it like, and latch onto that person. You'll learn a lot. So.
And, you got to follow the best too. I think if you want to be successful in anything, you got to look for people who can show you the way, and we know that, you're one of the best out there. So, what would you say to people who would want to come and learn from you or anything like that? You've always been really open to people.
Yeah. From time to time, I've, not as many people these days, but in the wholesaling time, we hired a lot of people and we trained a lot of people, and a lot of them became very successful and went on to run their own companies or start their own companies or whatever. And that's awesome. That's a great sense of pride. It's not near as exciting if it's I had my own company and I was one employee and I was successful and that's it. That's the end of the story. It's not that exciting. The exciting story is we started off with 20 people and it became 200 people, and mixed in between there is a ton of people that became successful and learned a lot of things and grew into new positions. And sometimes that means that people go on to do other things, which is fine. You never want to lose good people, but if I do lose good people, I actually would rather them do well than do not well, because it looks like we know what we're doing,
Right.
So,
absolutely.
It's okay. That's just kind of part of it. But yeah, whoever it is, if it's me or a million other wholesalers out there, if they want to do transport, transport person. But yeah, try to go work for that person, and you should learn some things. They should be teaching you. If you go to work for somebody and they're not teaching you anything, that is a bad sign. You should probably go work for somebody else.
Well, I think one of the greatest gifts that you have taught me, and just a heads up, like that's Chad used to be my old boss. So,
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. When did that part of the interview come up?
but one of the things that you taught me was like to kind of remove a lot of the mental blocks around what was a lot. And can you explain some of that to people? Because I found that to be one of the most valuable skills set was like helping me get my mind around what's a lot, what I'm capable of, and setting that mindset and just trying to get people to think a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look like, I think a lot of people get really tied up in like the very short term obstacle,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I mean, our conversation with you was probably initially, like, I remember a lot of yours initially was like, I'm doing $10,000 of gross.
Right.
And I want to do $100,000 of gross. But, you know, I don't really think I can do that. It's like 10 to 100 is a long way, but it's like, why not? Like, why can't you do that? Like, is anybody doing it? I mean, if anybody's doing it, we for sure know it's possible. Even if they're not doing it, like, as long as you can fathom some plan to get there, like, it shouldn't be totally impossible. But, like in your case, it did seem possible. Like, we can get there. And even if we shoot that high and we only do 80 grand,
Right.
pretty good, like nobody's going to be upset about that. So
nobody was going to be upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a short term, okay, well, what do we have to do this week and then this month and 3 months from now and then a year from now and maybe even 2 years from now. But I think you got to look at it both ways. Like, short term, where am I trying to get to? But then also, like, give yourself a little bit of time. Like, when we wanted to be the #1 wholesaler in the country, I didn't say we're going to do this tomorrow,
right,
or next month or next week. Like, we had a definite goal is we want to do this in 3 years.
right.
In 3 years, we can be the #1 wholesaler in the country. And like, that goal was always there, but it wasn't so pressing. Like, it was unrealistic. Like, it has to be a realistic goal, but also one that challenges you and pushes you. And if you do that, like, and then you just do the work, like, set it up and then just do the work, and don't be judging yourself every day, every week. If a week comes off, maybe it was just a bad week. Like, don't spend 4 days analyzing it. Like, just do the work again. And you may look up the second week and it's like, oh, I did twice as much. We're fine. Let's keep working. Let's go. Like, a lot of it is just doing the work. Like, I'm all for planning and writing and all this, but at the end of the day, it's mainly doing the work. So if you're not doing the work, definitely make sure you're doing that. But yeah, I mean, your story was a good one too. I mean, it was, I don't know, not to get in all your business, but we got into like 80. I mean, we got way up there. Like, it was, it went from tens up to 80 to 100-ish. It was a lot of growth in a short time. So.
Which was crazy, by the way, and I haven't seen it since, just to let you know. But I'm getting there. Hey,
you got the bobbleheads now. You're right on your way. Just send out more bobbleheads, and you'll be good. There you go, right there. Yeah. How many loads do they have to ship for you to send them a bobblehead? What's the minimum?
5 loads to get a bobblehead. 5 loads.
10, 15 for a bobblehead, for a Rachel bobblehead.
I will send them out too. I was thinking about putting it on my Facebook Marketplace,
Well, don't do Marketplace. That'll be a mess.
Oh, I don't know how these things work. When you were deciding to become the #1 wholesaler in the country, what did that look like? How did you set that up? Like, if somebody's saying, okay, that's the goal, what was like step 1?
For us, it was, so, I was at wholesale. Hollinshead was #1. He'd been #1 for ever. I don't know, like, for a long time. I went to PA specifically just to go see their lanes. I walked down there. It was amazing. I was like, this is awesome. Like, these guys are running 500 to 600 cars. They're selling a ton of them. They have all these people online, all these people in the lane, all these excitement. They have these big cars. They have small cars. They have whatever. And it's awesome. Like if I'm going to do this business, this is what I want it to be. Like, I don't, no offense to what we were doing, but going back home to Nashville to run 100 cars didn't seem that exciting. You know, it's like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to do what they're doing. Like, this looks fun. This looks exciting. Like, let's do this. So,
shout out to Colin said we love him.
Yeah. I mean, Bob's awesome. He's the king. So, I mean, a couple things really worked out, got lucky in our favor. You know, one, we were at a good place. I was at Wholesale Inc. with Steve Brewster. He was great. He was amazing. All this crazy stuff I want to do, he was like, yeah, let's try it. Let's do it. And when I fell on my face and did something stupid, it wasn't immediately like, don't ever do anything again. You know,
Right.
it was like, okay, well, let's learn from it and do it better and fix it. And that's hugely valuable. I mean, when you work for somebody, it's really easy when the first thing goes wrong to just kind of like shell up and be like, okay, we'll just take it easy. We're not going to take any risks, do anything. But he was awesome about that. And then I started watching Holland's Head. I started paying attention. It's like, these guys are the best. I'm going to watch and see what they're doing. Bob was great. He was doing all those blogs all the time. And, you know, he would blog and talk about business and what they were doing. And one time he put his cell phone on there and was like, hey, call me anytime. And I was like, you know, and I called him, I emailed him, and he was awesome. He emailed me right back, called me right back. And, you know, I was fairly upfront, you know, just like, hey, I just want to learn. Like, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at. Like, I really want to learn in the business. You're the best. And I will just gladly listen to whatever you have to say. And he was awesome. Like, we talked, I don't know, once a week, every other week for a while. Like, he would call me a lot of times on Saturdays. And he was super helpful, really valuable. I mean, getting to talk to him and Steve on a regular basis was like, you know, tons of information. It was very, very useful. So, you know, I was getting to work with Steve and talking to him on a daily basis and learning a ton. I got to talk to Bob. He really gave good information. I mean, he has been really helpful across the car business for a lot of people, both those guys. And that's the reason why, like, they'll really help somebody else.
They really will.
Even if that person doesn't work for them, like, which is a crazy thing that, like, it took me to get used to. But it's like, either way, like, I know a lot of car guys come to both of them, like, for advice, and they spend the time and actually give them some real advice and tell them some things. So, you know, that was awesome. And we kind of just took some of that, took some of what we were doing. You know, I mean, we didn't want to just like straight copycat Holland's Head. I mean, that's no fun. Like, we kind of had to come up with our own kind of vision and what we wanted to look like and the things we wanted to do. And we did, and we just started growing it. And, you know, they were really, really good at it, and they were a long way ahead of us. But I was just really convinced, like, we can do that. Like, we're good enough to do it. Like, we've got good enough people, smart enough. Like, we can do it. So, you know, a lot of really good employees and hard work and everything down the road.
Well, that's the question that I wanted to ask you. Like, how do you bring out the best in people? Because, like, honestly, everybody at Wholesale really worked their butts off. I mean, I did some of my best work I've ever done. And I can't say that about a lot of companies that I've worked for. So what would you say would how to bring
Shout out to the other companies.
Shout out. Best worker.
Yeah, I mean, that was what made it work at Wholesale. Like, we had amazing people. They worked really hard. I mean, I've told tons of people, like, yeah, they made me look really smart a lot of times when I wasn't, like, because whether it was a good idea or a bad idea or something we should have done or shouldn't have done, we would throw it out there and everyone was just like, let's do it. We got it. Let's make it happen. And they did. Like, it was so many times we pulled off like all these big sales and events or plans or numbers or whatever. And we literally just got there by everyone just working their brains out and like making it happen. And it was awesome. Like, we had awesome people. Like, I'm always grateful for working with, for sure. And
we had a good family.
It was fun. Like, it was like everyone was on board with the same plan. We were going the same direction. and it really mattered. And I think it really sold. Like I always told people, like I want to be able to say I'm working at the best place in the country, and not many people get to say that in whatever field they're in. Like it's a rare situation to be at a place where you can be like, I work for the best wholesaler around. And I think like everybody kind of took that to heart, and like we were all proud to be there and really wanted to work, and it just kind of meshed together. Like it just worked. So
Yeah. I always used to say I could sell wholesale better than wholesale could sell wholesale. I mean, I could. It was easy, you know. What's
And I
up,
mean, I think with employees,
Alonzo?
it's just you hire good people. I mean, that's part of it. You do have to hire the right people, and you're gonna miss on some. I mean, you don't think about those, but then I go back through it and think, yeah, I mean, I did some dumb stuff. I hired a bunch of bad people. Like it didn't work out, but there's a surefire way to not hire bad people, and that's hire nobody. So
Right.
you can't do that. Like you just have to hire good people, and then really help them, really push them along, really spend some time to, teach them some things, kind of invest in them. And normally it'll go right. Sometimes it doesn't. Like it's frustrating when you spend a lot of time with somebody, you train them, you feel like you do everything you should for them. And then right at the moment they get it, they sneak out the back door and go work for somebody down the street. Like that's going to happen. Like it's disappointing, but it's just kind of part of it.
It's
But
happened to me. It sucks, and it's just like, okay, well, live and learn,
But you hire good people, give them the tools, help train them, encourage them. Like I think the easiest thing in the world, if whatever level of boss you are, I mean, if you're a sales manager on the desk, the easiest thing in the world is just pointing out what everybody's doing wrong. Like it's easy. Everybody's doing wrong stuff all the time. Like if I was sitting in front of you all day long and tell you all the things you were doing wrong, it would be easy. You could sit here in front of me wherever I'm working and tell me all the things I'm doing wrong. Like it's the easiest thing in the world. The hardest thing in the world to do is when you see something they're doing wrong, stop, take the time, actually show them how to do it, and then follow up with them and make sure they actually learn it. Like that's the hard part. But that's what makes people really good. You want your people to really become more skilled at what they do over time, not just doing a job. Like, that's kind of the hard part. So,
well, I mean, it gets like, it gets a little frustrating, but you can't always be like the negative Nancy and point out everybody's flaws, because then it's like people then feel insecure, or like that's all you got for them. And so you kind of have to mix the good with the bad. How do you kind of like compliment people in a way that is, just, I mean, I know your style, which is.
I think the main thing is actually compliment them. Like, I think people forget that a lot of times. It's just like, tell them they actually did a good job. Tell them thanks. Tell them thanks for doing this or whatever. I mean, I think that's just easy to forget. And especially as you get to run a bigger company, like just even seeing all the employees can be a lot of work. Like I remember at wholesale, like it's like we have all these employees. We get up to having 200 employees. It's like, holy smokes, like there's people everywhere. So
and you
I
were
was almost half a day Friday, like that was kind of my thing. Like Friday afternoons, like I walked around the store, I went through the office, like I would try to text or call some of the out of town people. Like that would usually be the day. Like I'd call you, or I'd call Becker, or I'd call whoever just to check in. And it's just to say like, hey, how's everything going? Do you need anything? Thanks for the good week. Thanks for the good month. Thanks for the hard work. Thanks, whatever. And I think that's the part that kind of you forget is that, you kind of get in your boss mode and like you're just like in your, grind all the time, like whatever. But, whether it's 5 employees or 100 or 500, whatever, like you still have to spend some time with them and check in with them. Sometimes just tell them thanks. When they do a good job, tell them they did a good job. Because you certainly tell them when they do something wrong. They do something wrong.
Whoa, money.
So
everybody wants to know what you're up to now, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you're loving life and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm doing now is pretty much what everybody jokes about me doing now, which is I work out of my house. I mainly buy cars, sell cars, whatnot. So I do get dressed most days. That seems to be like everybody's joke. Do they think I'm just like over here in like a bathrobe or something?
I worked in my bathrobe. I'm not gonna lie, I worked at home.
I get up, like I work early in the morning. I take the kids to school. I go to the gym, come home, put some clothes on, work. It's pretty busy. Like today, I've got like 4 things I need to get done between now and 5 o'clock somehow. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. So,
all right. Well, listen, I am just super grateful that we got a chance to chat and everything. And I'm glad, and even if you were wearing your bathrobe once in a while, it's okay.
I do wear sweats occasionally. I'm not gonna lie. Like occasionally, I'm just like, yeah, just throw the Under Armour pants on and put on a hoodie, and like nobody cares. I got the hoodie, I'm just banging away on the computer, on the phone, whatever. Like
nobody sees you anyway. Listen,
the next time I'm doing that, I'll like FaceTime you just so you can like see me in the house in the hoodie or whatever. So,
all right, tell us about your workout of the day too. Everybody wants to know. What's your workout?
About the workout?
Yeah, what are you working out?
So I have like an app. Shout out to my man Adam Bornstein, Born Fitness. I worked out with him for a while. I'm like an online client.
Mm-hmm.
So he has an app where he loads up your workouts every week.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like no thought process to it. They like do it all. So it's just like I go in the gym and it's like boop, and it's like it has the workout, and that's what I do. You can check in, track your workouts, whatever. So it's different stuff. Today was like pull day, so it's like deadlifts and I don't know, back or whatever. So I'm not some huge dude. I just try to stay in like somewhat decent shape. So
were you doing the rope thing? I remember seeing on Facebook or something. Was that like a rope thing?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do like the sleds, like push the sleds or like pull with the ropes or whatever. So I like being outside. Like I like doing anything I can do outside. So I like running or doing sprints or, I have the sled in my backyard. Like in the summer, that's like my go-to. If I forget to go to the gym, it's like, I just push the sled around a little bit. So
well, it sounds fun.
It works out. Yeah.
Well, you got
to shipping world. Tell me what's going on in the shipping world.
What? I didn't hear that.
What's going on in the shipping world?
In my world?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're doing great. We're growing. We're having a kick-ass month. I'm trying to stay sane and, just kicking ass and taking names. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, I think I went through some, I'm getting used to the entrepreneurial roller coaster where, 1 minute everything's amazing, the next minute it's not, and then it's amazing again, and I'm sort of getting used to those swings. So, but I'm handling it well. We have 16 people now. We're growing like crazy, and so we're doing it. I got great people, and I'm so blessed, to be honest with you. I really am, and I'm so grateful to you because if it wasn't for you, I would not be in this chair. You give me an opportunity of a lifetime. And by the way, and I like that you support the ladies, Chad, because you know what? There's not enough dudes out there. Seriously.
Yeah.
The ladies,
We have a lot of badass ladies. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have a lot of badass ladies. And I think there's, people, they don't want to pay us right, or, I'm just saying, because we're ladies and we've always accepted it that way, but it's our own damn fault. But, I think there needs more people like you to really just sort of say here, no, she's going to be the manager and you're just going to have to accept it, and let them roll. And, as I, have my trials and tribulations and my own set of failures, which is fine because that's kind of what happens. You try and you fail and you learn, and you try and you fail and you learn. And, but I would have never been able to sit in this chair if it wasn't for you, boss. And so I'm truly grateful.
Yeah, it's awesome. I still remember, not to get in the back of your story, I guess, but, you came to us and you were a sales rep, you'd worked for United Road and we got up there, RPM or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you were being a sales rep. You were working out of your house, I think.
Out of my house, yep.
You were doing a good job. You were doing your thing. You were growing. It was whatever. And then you came down to Nashville with this huge binder of this presentation you had put together of I want to start my own office, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. And it was awesome because I don't know if the plan was good. I don't remember it. I think it was like really aggressive. Like, we're going to make $1 million in the next 6 months or something, probably. But
we did. We made it in a year. It was $1 million, and I came up. I was $50,000 short.
You did good. It was good. But the best part was like your enthusiasm and your confidence of like, I can do this. Like, I'm positive. Like, I mean, you had no experience, whatever, in that managing part, but you wanted to do it. You knew you wanted to do it, and you stepped out there to do it. Like, you came to your boss and you said, this is what I want to do. I know I can do it. I'll figure it out. And like, most people don't do that. I mean, that's a very rare thing, but props to you. Like, you jumped out there, you wanted to do it. You wanted to have your own office. Eventually your own office wasn't enough. You want to have your own company. And if that's what's burning you up at night and you want to do it, then do it. Like, that's what you got to do. And you're going to go out there and it's going to be tough, and you're going to bounce around, and you're going to get thrown on the pavement a few times and all those things. But, you know, if you really want to do it and that's what you want to do, then go do it. And props for you. You're sitting in front of your sign. You're sitting in your office. You got your employees. Sure, it sucks a lot of days, and your bobblehead. You got your own bobblehead now, so you know. But
bobbleheads for sale, guys. 15 loads. 15 loads. You don't even want to know. What's up, Cody? All right. So let me just say one last thing, just to piggyback off of that too. This is the reason why I started this whole Car Biz Leaders Live, is because honestly, I'm trying to become a better manager myself. You know, better boss, better this. And I just need to listen to people who have done it, who've done it big time. And you've managed over 300 people at one point. I mean, I can't even imagine that. One day I hope to, but you know.
300 people and one Rachel Blatt. That was like an even scale.
Oh, sure. I know I was a pain. Okay. I know. Worth it though. Hashtag worth it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the main thing with people, I remember we had this discussion, like the main discussion I always had with you was, you know, everyone isn't you. Like, every employee isn't Rachel Blatt. Like, every employee isn't just like me. Like, everybody's different. So don't treat them the same. Don't expect them to be exactly the way you are. Like, there's not one way. There's not one person. There's not whatever. Like, you may have to adjust your training a little bit, or your mentality, or your ways, or whatever, but there's different ways to do it. So there's always, you know, especially like salespeople, I think, that are really good salespeople, when they become managers, they want to be like, I want like 4 people just like me. But I mean, that's hard to find sometimes. Like, if you're a really good salesperson, it may take you a while before you find like that exact clone of yourself. I never figured that out.
I have yet to find my clone. I'm still looking for them.
Yeah.
Very difficult. It's very difficult to find my clone. Which is why I haven't had, like, I think the success that I wanted to have, because meanwhile, you don't get to, here's what becoming an entrepreneur looks like. 4 times as much work for a quarter of the money. I didn't know that when I started.
You gotta, it should turn around a little bit at some point though. Like, at some point you should make some money.
I was like, oh yeah. I was like, well, it's so ironic though. I was like, you know what? I just need to make more money, you know, and then it's not about money. You can't do it about money anymore. Yeah. You have to become like something bigger than yourself now. So it's like a purpose, like jobs, women, you know, we're really big into that whole thing, you know. But, you know, like, it's the car business, you know, and so this is just like a time where it's like a mostly male dominated industry, just saying. And, you know, it's like, okay, can I do this? And can I be respected by doing it too? You know? So I think that's, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's coming around for the ladies. Like, I think it's getting better all the time, where it's like, you know, if you're good at what you do, I mean, people shouldn't care. Like, it really shouldn't matter. So, you know,
well, I think that I think a lot of people, they like the wholesaling and the used car manager and the GSM is like a coveted position in the dealership, and so like it's very rare that you see a woman in that position. Most of them are BDC, internet managers, HR, marketing, and that's like one thing. I think wholesaling is a great job for women. I think it would be awesome if we had more of them, but you go to the auction and you see one, maybe if you're lucky, and that's okay. I don't mind it, but I think it would be better if it, got a little bit more mixed. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll come around. Like everything in the car business is like come around on that. I mean, you see more, like a lot of the leaders at Cox now are females. You see more ownership females. You do see more manager females. A lot of the top salespeoples, and I mean, you see more and more of that. Like it's coming down the pike. So I think it's just a matter of time before you see more buyers and wholesalers. And I mean that, yes, they're still mainly males, but it's like the car business used to be very dude. I mean, it was almost all dude. So it's like it's just taken a while for the ladies to get in everywhere. And honestly, the wholesale is probably the wholesale used car buyers.
Right.
It's almost like the oldest school section of the car business.
Yeah.
So it's like that's been like the last one I think they've spilled into. But I mean, you'll see more and more because now car buying so much is, I mean, it's a lot of analytical thinking, relationships, stuff like that. And that's something that usually ladies are really good at. So I think they'll fit in there really well. So.
Well, and to be honest with you, you have to, I call this like, you got to be able to call bullshit in this business, and you have to have a little grit, and you have to be a little bit assertive and outgoing and, not take any crap. And, but I mean, you do to be successful in this business. And I think it's more difficult for women, I think, if they're more reserved, Yeah,
I mean, you gotta have a lot of confidence, and people, like if you're in some sort of transport sales, wholesale buying, wholesale sales, whatever, like these dealers come at you really hard. Like you're going to get people who really come at you aggressively. They'll yell at you. They'll cuss at you. They will get angry. They will push you. Like that's just kind of part of the business. So yeah, like you've got to be confident in like tread that line between like, I'm going to provide good service and be a pro, but I'm also not just going to take a load of crap off somebody and let it like wreck my day. Like I used to ask salespeople we'd interview all the time. It's like, are you okay with calling 50 people a day? And are you okay with 50 people not answering the phone or basically hanging up on you? Because some days that's the day, like that's all you get. So, sometimes it's not that many people, it's not phone calls or whatever, but there is a lot of rejection. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of issues, and you can't let that like weigh you down. Like, it's just like, all right, next man up, next deal up, next call up, let's go. Next day up. Today sucked. Oh, well, there's tomorrow. Let's deal with it.
And the thing about this business is it's so giant too. I mean, it's ginormous. And so I feel like there's enough room for everybody to play in the sandbox really and be successful as long as they want to be,
I agree. Yeah.
Listen, I thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful to have you on. Please come again. You are the man. And
yeah, I appreciate it. Good luck up there on the trucking, and anything you need, holler at me.
When are you going to come to Detroit?
We get to chat.
When are you going to come up to Detroit?
I mean, it's freezing right now, so probably not right now at all. I don't want to be here and it's cold. I'm definitely not going to.
All right. Well, listen, thanks again, and we appreciate having you on.
Thanks, Rachel. Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye, Jed. All righty. And we're going to end the broadcast. Andy.